Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is now the moment where we have our plenary discussion. So please prepare your questions. So we have a microphone, just put your hand up. Would love to know who you are and also which institution you represent, but please keep your question to just 1 minute and keep it only one question.
Thank you very much. My name is Ernest Wangombe from Africa Green Revolution. Mine is not a question, but a request for shifting our attention to accommodate sidelined but very pertinent issues. The role of rural communities in sustaining cities should not be overlooked. It should be really appreciated. We should actually look at guided involvement for voluntary participation by rural people. Like the farmers, they have a very big role in providing or helping clean water to get to the cities. We should think beyond pipes and dams. We should look upon places like water towers that provide the source of our water, which is dwindling. We have lost more than 40% of water that flows to our rivers. And that's why our dams are actually almost drying up. We have issues of deforestation, land degradation, and poor farming methods that bring about things like river pollution, siltation to the dams again, costing millions of shillings like to power providers by desilting. We have contaminated water by poor farming methods of applying the wrong fertilizers and other chemicals by elite farmers who should be guided to make sure that cities get clean water. Okay. We also get foodstuffs that are poisoned, not by choice, but by chance, because people are applying the wrong chemicals to enhance growth of their crops that they bring to the cities. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Wendy Kawira. I'm representing Upper Hill District Association, an association for businesses and property owners in Upper Hill. The question is aimed at UN Habitat and the ministry. One of our greatest challenge is having a coexistence of informal trading and formal trading. And we see there's that challenge in the CBD. So this is the question. How do you ensure that both the informal trading and the formal trading can coexist in an organized manner?
Okay. My name is Janet Majiko, and I represent South B. My question is about what we refer to as informal settlements. The way I look at government, in terms of government of the nation, like a government of Kenya, I see that in terms of the nation, the government is like God in the universe. I hear that the government has something called consolidated fund. They have partners like the UN Habitat and other partners. My big question is, almost in every upper market estate, there is an adjacent informal settlement, slum, which lives in very toxic, very unhealthy situation, very sickly, very, very sickly. What are the reasons that the government are not uplifting the living conditions of these nationals? These are people, these are citizens of the nation, these are Kenyans. Why are they living so badly? Why are they so unhealthy? And the government is able, its voice is law in the nation. What if the government intends to do, they will go ahead and do. Why are they not doing it? Ms. Mwangi, my question to you, madam.
My name is Constant Kapp. I'm an urban planner. I work with the Kilimani Project Foundation and also an official with the South Sea Residents Association. I'm also right at africancityplanner.com. Just a question towards a person from, well, both UN Habitat and the ministry. One of the biggest challenges found with the New Urban Agenda has been political will. And I look at this from both the angle of political will from those in office and those of development partners. Because many times you have development partners who come with initiatives and urban development projects that may not be in line with the New Urban Agenda. And we've seen it with a number of the recent projects that have happened within the city of Nairobi. And the other area is also local political will. When I analyze some of the manifestos of people vying for various city governorships, you realize that there was very little relation between what is being driven in the New Urban Agenda and what they were driving for. There was a lot of talk based on some of what has been seen in Western cities, many of which are now being reversed, many experiences which are now being looked negatively upon. And it would be good to see how we can come out with a clearer definition of what we want from public spaces, from transit-oriented development, from mobility, urban mobility and access, and also from the area of informality that has been mentioned by some of the other people. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. I will respond to the issue of informal settlements. It is true that in every upper market estate we have a slum just next to it. And we have recognized that that has been a challenge in the way we've been developing in the past. If you look at the housing policy that we developed the other day, we have one of 2004 and one that is awaiting adoption by Parliament. We are now talking of sustainable neighborhood estates. We have already done one project in Mavoko. We have not finished completely, but we expect to have everybody in that estate, the people who earn a little bit higher, the middle income people and the low income people. We realize that there's need for integration, because if we don't do that, then the slums will continue growing. But we need an estate that has everybody, so that there is cross-subsidy. Those who have higher incomes, they can subsidize for those who cannot maybe even afford to do the roads and a few other things within the estate. And we also realize that we need each other. Even as you are in the upper market, you need a house help, and the house help has to live somewhere. And that's why we are trying to cater for them within the same estates that we are talking about. Going forward, that is the direction that we are going, and it is the direction that we are encouraging all developers and our partners to go. The other question that has been raised is the issue of lack of political commitment in terms of the New Urban Agenda. We have said that the New Urban Agenda was adopted in 2016. You have seen we have come up with a popular version, and it was done by all of us. We were only coordinating, but the information came from all of us. And there's a lot of goodwill even from the county governments. We've been talking to them, and we will continue talking to them, because we realized, according to the new constitution, that the implementation is at the county level. We do appreciate that. Going forward, that is the direction that we are going, and it is the direction that we are encouraging all developers and our partners to go. The other question that has been raised is the issue of lack of political commitment in terms of the New Urban Agenda. We have said that the New Urban Agenda was adopted in 2016. You have seen we have come up with a popular version, and it was done by all of us. We were only coordinating, but the information came from all of us. And there's a lot of goodwill even from the county governments. We've been talking to them, and we will continue talking to them, because we realized, according to the new constitution, that the implementation is at the county level. We do appreciate that. But we need to all work together to ensure that we make our urban areas very sustainable. And we do have an opportunity to do that, because the county headquarters are just taking off, and they have an opportunity to ensure that they make their urban places livable and places that people enjoy living in. I think I want to say that the commitment is there, and we are continuing to work with all of us to ensure that this new urban agenda is achievable. And we are going to look at the milestones together. That's why we have a national committee where we bring in our ideas. Sometimes, as I said, nobody has a monopoly of ideas. We may have overlooked something, and if you bring it on board and it is something that is doable, we will work on it together. The other thing maybe I just want to say is that housing is an expensive undertaking. And for most Kenyans, it is a lifetime saving, and it is the biggest goal they achieve as families, as households, and therefore it requires all of us. And even as we are talking of informal settlements, we all need to work together. We have been trying to work with the Kibera residents, and you know, most of you know that it has taken a lot of time to just finish that project that we have finished. Because we continue engaging with each other, we can continue looking for funds together, and we continue to ensure that those houses are affordable to the people who live there so that they don't move to another slum. And there's something also Linus has brought on board, the issue of rent versus ownership. And it is something that we are also thinking, we don't have to own houses in the urban areas. Some of us still have rural hang-ups, and therefore maybe you never want to live in the urban areas. When you retire, maybe you want to go back to your village. And therefore, much as you are in the city, you are also investing in the rural areas. And such people, we have also realized we need to give them an opportunity to rent the houses. We are working to ensure that these rental houses are affordable. We are working on a strategy like I have said. And we will require the participation of all of us to see what needs to be done to ensure that those houses are affordable to those people who will never be able to own and those who don't want to own.
United Nations is that we have a formal agreement with all our partners. Like, for instance, I mentioned that we are working with the Kiambu government on revenue enhancement, for instance. We have an agreement with the county, Kiambu County. We didn't have an agreement with the governor then. You know, there's a change of leadership there. So, for instance, one of the few things that's to make sure that some of these things are not manipulated or changed is that we have to have a formal ways of operations, and so that these things are institutionalized as opposed to basing them on the individual interest or will. Another thing, the first question was asking about how can we formalize the informal trading and the formal trading. The informal, from where I come from, are the people who sell things in the public spaces along the streets and all this. What is some of the best ways? Nairobi County, for instance, have been trying to do by probably providing markets, and of course these people are targeting people who walk along the streets like us. So we're wondering, what is the best way? Because if you put it in Ngara, or the other one is called Muduro, down there, and then nobody walks there, then they find their ways back into the city. I don't know, is there a way that we can plan our cities, our towns, in such a way that within the city center there is a place for the informal traders, whom some people call hawkers or whatever it is, or specific days where they can be allowed in the cities to be in such a way that is so organized that they don't feel excluded, but are within the arrangement. It's a good debate that we can be able to. Should you be interested, you can liaise with the car and see what is the best way, because again, taking them out of town and their target group are people who walk around. When it's raining, you want to buy an umbrella, or you have some flu, you need to buy some handkerchief. It's easier to pick it walking as opposed to going to a shopping mall to get it. The last one, which I think the Director Assembly responded to, is about the coming up of slums and what the government is doing. Of course, I don't work with the government, but the government is doing a lot in terms of slum upgrading to try and address these things. Some of the challenges is that, for instance, the people don't believe that it's doable. So it starts with the change of mind, leave alone the physical infrastructure you're talking about. But I think we are in the right process. How I wish that all of us could join hands to make us move forward. Thank you.
So definitely we need to be part of the solution. Let's take some of the questions. So we can take 5.
I am Mr. Cornel Okumu from Bunge la Wazalendo. Swali yangu tafadhali mngeniwacha niongee kwa Kiswahili. Swali yangu nakuja kwa Madam Mwangi, yani Jane Mwangi. Hapo awali mlianza mpango ya kuinua Waislamu, na mpaka wa leo hata gari inatembea kwa kijiji kisema upgrading Islam gari, na sasa ndio Islam inaendelea kufia kabisa. Na kitambo hiyo ianzwe hiyo project, kama sijakosea tunabaki na 13 years only tufike kwa mpango ya Kibaki ya Vision 2030. Maisha yetu sisi watu wa Islam itakuja siku gani? Na kama mko kwa Islam, mko pande gani? Hii manyumba ikijengwa, iwachwe hii barabara iende hivi, serikali atashtakiwa? That's my question. Hii nyumba ikiwekwa kwa plan, government atapelekwa kotini? No. Why hapana iko kwa plan? Na ni when they do that plan? That's the question. Go ahead.
Mimi pia ni George Mng'ao Konji kutoka kwa bunge la Wazalendo. Yangu sio swali, yangu ni kupongeza Safaricom na tena kuwakosoa. Si mnaona mimi ni mzee? Pengine tulianza na Safaricom pamoja. Mimi nimefanya kazi, nimeretire. Safaricom, in the interest of corporate social responsibility, walianza vizuri, wakasomesha watoto wetu. They ventured into education na wakafanya perfectly well. Alafu wakarelax. We used to hear of their hefty annual profits. Alafu walikuwa tunagawana kwa upande wa education. Where did you go wrong? I'm happy that you have come in now kusaidia whatever the implementation of whatever rural, and you must be very serious, mostly on this area. I'm suggesting that muingilie energy tunaumia, meaning that mnatakana muingilie renewable energy. Kenya is able kusaidia wamama wetu kupiga chakula bila kutumia renewable energy. You know what I mean by renewable energy. Muingilie renewable energy, muingilie health. You are not in the health. You have not been failed there. Communication ni kidogo. Water tena. It is shameful that Kenya, Nairobi, is a water scarce city. Hata sijue where UN, kijana wa UN unaambianga wapi namna gani wageni wako wakija Nairobi. Kusikia, kusoma gazeti ati Nairobi hakuna maji. It is shameful. While Kenya tuko na 5 water towers. That is the... Thank you.
Good morning all. I'm Robert Waso. I'm not representing any organization. I'm a student at Technical University of Kenya. So my question goes to Kenya Alliance of Residents Association. What is your take in involving young people like university students in your organization, like in involving anything? I've never seen Kara moving from one institution or other, or maybe you have been moving, but I've never seen you. That's my question.
Jane Komen from bunge la Wazalendo, na nitaongea kwa lugha ya taifa. Kwangu nimeona upande wa railways, manyumba ya railways. Mimi ni chair lady Landmawe. Na nimeona hizo manyumba wase walipewa, lakini wale wanasimamia wanakuja kutoa wase na hizo manyumba inakuwa subletted. Hakuna, wanapomoa paka sewage. Sasa watu wakiosha kama vyombo inarushwa nje. Hakuna plan huko ya sewage. Unakuta katikati ya manyumba playing ground ya watoto imekuwa garage. Sijui imekuwa ni estate ya garage. Nataka wale wanashughulika na hii maneno ndio waone hizi magarage itakuwaje. Sauri badala ya playground imekuwa garage. Barikiwe.
Okay. Mine is on Safaricom. I believe you are doing a good job, but you said that we have moved to digital economy. My name is Georgina from civil society, CSUDP. Sometimes it is very difficult for people to engage in digital economy, particularly in the rural areas, and especially even the city, Eastlands, whereby you don't have power. Kenya Power will switch off the electricity from morning, I don't know up to what time. What time will you work? Secondary, we also have the cities, what do you call it? Upgrading of the slums. It is also a challenge. As we are upgrading, you find that we are still constructing vibadas along the roads. Yet we are saying that we are upgrading address these challenges.
Thank you. One question.
Thank you. My name is Kenyanito Dodi from Langata District, representing both Kibra and Langata. I work with Spurgeon Child Care. With regard to the insurgence of urban population, question to line or lead ministry, what concrete steps do we have in place to involve children's participation as we ensure that our children have holistic growth? This is in consideration with social amenities. Second half question is that how long will we have this slum upgrading that is for both UN Habitat and the lead ministry? It's been ages. The pilot, which was begun around 13 years in Kibra, up to now, we are still waiting for the people to settle in those houses. Thank you.
My name is Marianne Morevi. I'm with the Garden Estate Reduce Association. As residents associations, would love to work with you for informal sectors. Once a slum is coming up in your neighborhood, how do we report it? How do we work together? How can you assist us as residents associations who are already active to formulate the 7 points that you've given us? How do you work together to achieve that? Because every time we come here for CARA meetings, we're talking. Where's the action? Because we were here last time, the same issues. So how do we get through this? How do we start to work, to start working on some of these issues? Informal sectors, kiosks coming up in our neighborhood, water. Would love to work with you on these issues in our associations. So how do we get over this?
My name is David Kitaki, and for your purposes, I am Kara. Now, let me commend the Kenya government for the work you have done in producing this popular version. Many countries have not done this, and this is a great thing. For the UN group, let me read you one paragraph from the planning perspective of the new urban agenda implementation. And it says, urban planning plays a vital role in shaping the future of global sustainability through implementation. I think most of the questions we have had this morning could have been answered if we took up the issue of planning our cities, our towns, and in Kenya in particular, with 47 new headquarters of our counties, some coming from market centers, Nyamira, and the capacity to plan a city, because these are all cities. What are we doing? Because I think we should get to concrete action. And the action from the document from the ministry lacks a column where action and responsibility. Because unless we all become responsible citizens and playing our part, then we may never see the light of the day of this new urban agenda. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So because of time, we'll just give it to our panelists to respond.
There are many questions. I'll only respond to them that I think concerns us. I'll start from the last one. There was one about involvement of children for holistic growth. I totally agree. From where I come, I think we can discuss further from here. Basically, we have various UN agencies responsible for various things. So ours is urbanization, basically cities and housing, that is habitat. We have UNICEF that deals with the children and all that. I think we can exploit from there. So basically, we are giving presentation. Then na sasa hii itasema kwa Kiswahili, juu iliulizwa pia kwa Kiswahili. Jamani, juzi siji huko sehemu watu wetu wanaishi, nyumba zilikuwa zinachomeka na hatukuwa na nafasi ya hata magari za kuzima moto kuingia. Hapo ukweli ni kwamba mambo ya planning ndio kufanywa vizuri, lakini kama sisi pia ambao wakaji wa huko pia, sasa sisi pia tunalawama kidogo. Kama hatuwezi wacha nafasi ya gari ya zimamoto kukuja kutusaidia sisi, ni sisi ndio wenyeji wa pale. Mimi naomba sisi pia wenyeji tuchukue jukumu, tuhakikishe tumeweka nafasi kidogo, gari ikikuja zimamoto, mama akitaka kujifungua, mtu ni mgonjwa, angalau gari inaweza ingia. Hiyo tunaweza saidia kwa upande yetu, lakini wasikadao hasa ni wale ambao wanaishi pale, wale ndio wanaona hiyo ugumu. Lingine yule mama yangu alikuwa anasema ile masuala ya manyumba za reli. Jamani, mimi najua historia ya hiyo mpango ya reli kabisa. Mimi naomba wale ambao wana uzoefu ama wale ambao those who are informed, tunasema je kwa Kiswahili, wale ambao wanaelewa kidogo, jamani, chukueni fursa yenu muende kwa ofisi ya reli hapa chini, wanaelewa, wamedevolve kwa kila sehemu. Kunazo ofisi ambao zinahusika kwa kila sehemu. Ukienda Kibera, ukienda Mkuru, sehemu zote wako na ofisi. Jamani, mkiona shida kama hayo, nyinyi ambao mnaelewa kidogo, mnaenda kuambia, jamani, tunaona hii na hii inafanyika pale. Juu wako hapa ofisi kuu, na reli si hapa peke yake ama Landmawe peke yake, imeenda mpaka huko kwetu Kisumu. Yeah. You know, the type of education we go through is that one that you are set to go and look for a job. I think that has to change. So we need to be job creators. We need not to ask, what is Kara doing? You need to come up with an innovation. Go and ask them, I have this unique idea. How can we make this practical to help us address some of the challenges we have highlighted here? At the same time, you're creating a room for yourself, don't you see? What are you studying in that class? What is it that you're finding new that you can provide in a table like this? I tell Kara, I'm a student at the university. You did not say what you're studying, but this is what I'm doing. I think from my class, I can be able to do this. Let them give you a platform to try, even as an intern or like a volunteer or an attaché. That way you are providing solutions. The situation where I go back to my village, where you find people who are graduates are going back to school, tukito kwa rambe ya mtoto kwenda university, say, why do I go to university? And they just come back home. Because of that mentality that you need to be hired. No. We have to go to school with an intention that we are going to create opportunities for our people. If we do it like that, then education will still remain very relevant. Asanteni sana.
Because like we have said, when I was making my presentation, I said the new urban agenda is for all of us. And that new urban agenda includes slum upgrading. And therefore, all of us have a role to play. There is a national government. Munajua vile hiyo project ya Kibera imetiki muda mrefu. Kwa sababu ya msuzano hii nyumba, tunataka kununua, tunataka kukodesha na all that. And I think we have learned a lot of lessons from that project. And as we move forward, we are looking for better solutions than the way we have implemented the Kibera one. Because we have realized that it is very difficult, it is a difficult process. People have very different interests, and therefore we need to look at the best way to move forward. Now with the constitution, of course, we have to work with the Nairobi County, and even as individuals. And I also want to challenge Kara here, even as they organize residents associations in various estates. Let us also remember the people in slum upgrading. Sometimes people just need somebody to organize them so that they can do what they need to do, like give room for the roads. Mukikubaliana hapo kidogo kidogo mutatengeneza barabara, muta create the room for the road, and then the county government can come in and do the road. But as long as we are not working together and we are not moving together, it becomes very difficult. So as we move forward, we need to create those partnerships, and we need to continue working together. As a ministry, we are trying to work with Nairobi County. We already have a team that is looking at the housing in Nairobi. both at the national government level and the county government level. Because all of us, we are looking to improve our country, whether we are working at the national government or whether we are working at the county government. And we need to supplement each other's activities. Thank you.
Thank you. The gentleman, Sarah, thank you very much for the question that you raised, or the challenge that you threw to Safaricom. And I just want to say, you possibly have seen our new branding effort. We are trying to refresh the brand. And we've come up with a new tagline, from the better option to Twaweza. The fact of the matter is that we have continued to invest in projects, but the question we're asking ourselves, how come the Kenyans are not feeling these projects, or they cannot feel the impact? And there is therefore a gap. And we went back as part of our brand strategy to say that we need to invest more, and then together we can actually make things possible. And that is the reason why we have changed our strategy, our agenda, and our new brand tagline. And you will start seeing a bit of a difference. Some of the decisions that we took included spending a lot of money and putting in the M-Pesa Foundation Academy, which is a model school that was actually called out by the Cabinet Secretary. And it's something that we wanted to do to elevate the education standards of Kenya. As soon as we do that, we want to be able to then amplify this excellence across as many counties as we can, as possible. We are, in terms of the areas that we're focusing on, there's education, there's health. Those are big areas that we're focusing on in terms of giving back to community and participating effectively to actually inject a lot more money in developing and giving, especially to those that are not able to access the privileges that some of us have been able to access. So yes, it's a good challenge, and we actually realized that we need to do a lot more. Initially, we thought it's possibly an awareness issue, that people don't know how much we're doing, but I don't think it's an awareness issue. If you don't know about the Shofco project in Kibera, for instance, it means that we have not touched enough people in the Kibera area or the informal settlement area for people to actually feel that Safaricom is giving back enough. So yes, we will do a lot more. On the other issue that was raised by the lady on how we can expect to drive a digital economy, yet half of the time during the day there is no power in residential areas. What can we possibly do together with Kenya Power? In fact, if you look at if you had an opportunity to look at our strategy, one of the things that we're saying, a key enabling factor is power, electricity. And we are working very closely with Kenya Power, and some of the things we had hoped to be able to do together. And sometime last year, you may have seen Bob and Dr. Chumo, then the former CEO, come together and say that we want to come together as Safaricom and Kenya Power, first and foremost to ensure that we use only one cable, one pole to get to the homes. But that is still a lot of work in progress and become very much into the future. But on our part, what we can promise you is that we are lobbying them to ensure that first and foremost we have power available, and then finally to ensure that telecommunications joins part of what is called protected utility. Because for it to become a relate, for it to be able to work at home, it must be available, and it must be available 24/7 when you need it. A lot of the time, even when the connection goes down, is because we don't fall under what we call protected utilities. So someone can just come and cut the cable and walks away without any problem, bila shida, nonchalantly, feeling nothing about it, but you would not do the same for maybe Kenya Power, you wouldn't do the same for water, because they are protected utilities. And when we all come together, then we'll ensure that we'll actually be able to build enabling environments for everyone to be able to work at home. Thank you very much as possible. Thank you.
But at the moment, before we wind up, it's important for us to get that final remark from the CEO. Makofi tafadhali to the CEO. Bwana Henry Ochieng.
Before we close, just a quick response to some of the questions that were raised from our friend from the university. You asked about what we are doing with the university and the youth. And of course, partly the question has been answered by Linus here. And I really like that particular answer, because at times it's also good to be proactive so that we can be able to see how is it that we can be able to work together. I'll give you an example. About 2 years ago, a group of young university students, just from the university, 3 of them, approached us as CARA with an idea. They wanted to have a platform through which they can be able to use to capacity build or engage the youth in meaningful ways. We were able to help them register the organization, and we are now working with them very closely to do a number of activities with the university students and with the youth. Maybe some of them are even here, the Youth and Success Association, they're called the YASA. So through that kind of partnership, we've done quite a bit with the universities. But of course, at CARA level, we have opportunities for internship, for volunteerism for university students. And we also work at institutional level. CARA partnership with the University of Nairobi, for instance, we have activities that we are implementing with IDEAS, Institute of Development Studies at the University of Nairobi. So there are a number of things that are happening, but I think the most effective way of looking at it is coming up with an idea, having a discussion, and we've had this kind of discussion with many of university students, and where we can be able to provide a platform or help, we are able to help. So please, perhaps we can have a chat after this, so that we can just be able to see how to move that forward. Of course, our member from GARA, I hear you, and I get your frustration, but I think we've been able to make quite a bit of movement, even from this kind of discussions. You remember the functions, the forums normally have with the county governor before we had these elections. Out of that, we've made progress, and I'm sure you are aware that right now, CARA is sitting the Planning Approval Committee of the county government, where most of these decisions about development are made. So you'll increasingly start seeing a lot of influence at that particular level, and of course, a number of activities taking place. But I can assure you that this is not in vain. We don't come here just to talk. There's so much that is happening behind the scene, and we're able to see the results. Of course, the county government was supposed to be here. When we were planning this particular forum, actually we focused on the people who have the principal responsibility to drive the new urban agenda, which is the ministry and UN Habitat. But of course, moving forward, we'll make sure that we bring on board the county government so that they can be able to respond to some of the questions that are directly falling within their mandate. So that is taken positively, and we'll be able to address it moving forward. So ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our forum today. And like I said, our intention and our interest is to make sure that everybody has the right information and the right understanding of their roles and responsibility on this new urban agenda program, so that you can contribute and you can be able to support it. We want to thank Safaricom once again for coming forward to work with us, to partner with us. They are actually members of CARA. We've done quite a bit with them, and we are still going to do more. And this forum is not just for Nairobi. Our intention actually is to have similar forums across the country, so that people from different parts of the country can understand this issue of new urban agenda and how it's going to impact on them, but most importantly, what kind of role they can play to support it. Because it's not about people sitting back and waiting for government to do something for them or somebody to take an action, but it's also a question of what is it that you are doing within your small area of influence to promote things that are useful to the community and can promote sustainability. So we thank Safaricom, and we also look forward to working with many other partners who can be able to share the common vision that we have. Of course, our friends from UN Habitat, we are always proud to work with you. We are looking forward to really strengthen the partnership, especially in the country program, implementation of the new urban agenda. And we are looking forward to also seeing how we can support the various programs that are gearing towards promoting access to services in this country. But we thank you for coming, and we look forward to working with you. Jen from the ministry has been very supportive of CARA, especially the Housing and Urban Development Department. It's not the first time we are engaging with them. We've worked with them before, and anytime we want to engage them, the doors are always open for us. So please pass our regards to the PS and the CS, and we look forward to continue working with you in many other areas. To our members and the general participants, always proud of you. Whenever we give a call, we see the room full. You are always coming to share ideas, to ask questions, to engage us.
Kara is not Kara without you people in this room. Actually, you are the people who make Kara what it is. And we are happy that you are always very responsive and you are always willing to take your share of responsibility or to take action where needed so that we can move together. So we thank you very much, and let's continue joining hands, let's continue working together, let's continue supporting each other, because there's what Kara can do, there's what you can do as a resident association or as an individual. So if we can be able to converge and bring this pull in one direction, I'm sure we'll make a lot of movement and we'll be able to see progress happening. So ladies and gentlemen, if there's people I've not thanked, maybe it's because I've not remembered, but just know we appreciate every single person who has been supporting us in this journey that we walk, every person who has come to this particular meeting. Thank you for your patience, because I know there are many competing interests. You could have chosen to go somewhere else, but you are here, meaning that you take this very seriously and you think it is important. So asanteni sana, and